Good afternoon and welcome to Brno, the Grand Prix of Czechia, where we have had quite the surprise in MotoGP qualifying. For the first time in his MotoGP career, not only is he on the front row, but he's on pole position. Superfile Trackhouse Racing's Ai Agura, shocking everybody. We came into this weekend, we'd never seen a 1 minute 51 lap time around this legendary Brno venue. Ai Agura in qualifying has just done a 151.1, 9/10 of a second shaved off of the previous all-time lap record around this circuit. Brilliant stuff from Ai Agura in a bit of a blockbuster front row as well. Alongside him, Fabio Di Antonio, who I said in Parc Ferme to him so often, I've heard him this year say, I love Ai Agura's riding style. I'm his biggest fan. I said to him, he's still his biggest fan after he just stole pole from you? And he went, not anymore. Third on the grid after a tweak in the setup for free practice for Pecco Bagnaia that didn't work. He went back to his base and was able to find some feeling eventually by that final run and was able to take third on the grid. And then the two key men we anticipated being in the World Championship line up side by side as well. Marco Bezzecchi taking fourth. Marc Marquez, first lap time cancelled for track limits, wasn't able to really maximise it on his final run. And in the end, middle of the second row of the grid, he told us yesterday, I'd be happy with the front two rows of the grid. Well, his body language told a very different story. Marc Marquez, fuming, livid at the fact that he wasn't able to cash in and take a front row, given where some of the key championship contenders were around him. But a fascinating grid where it's very, very difficult to say, certainly for the sprint, then for the Grand Prix tomorrow, who the favourite is. Agura, we know how strong he is at the end of races. Nobody's overtaken more riders in MotoGP this year. He is the comeback king on Sunday, but starting from pole position, he's hoping he doesn't have to do any overtaking whatsoever. If he's able to make a good start, which hasn't been his strong point, he's going to be in a great position and surely is right in the mix to challenge for that debut MotoGP win. Fabio Di Antonio still waiting. In fact, no, he didn't. He got it in Barcelona, but still waiting for an uninterrupted, there we go, saved it, MotoGP victory this season from the middle of the front row. His pace looked pretty strong as well. Pecco Bagnaia has said he's starting to find his feet. We know how good Bez is on Sundays. Marc Marquez, I'm sure he's going to bring the fight, certainly in the sprint. Let's see if the body can hold up in tomorrow's Grand Prix. It looks as though those front five on the grid are going to be a fascinating watch. Really is going to be a really, really interesting race coming up later on today. Some of the key stories as well, I should mention off outside of the second row of the grid, Diogo Moreira, brilliant from the Brazilian, was glued to the rear wheel of Ai Agura and was able to somehow get himself provisionally onto the front row of the grid, provisionally on pole position was the Brazilian. He will absolutely take a second row start, will Diogo Moreira, because he's bumped down some pretty big names onto row 3 as a result. Ralph Fernandez, front row 3 ahead of Pedro Acosta and Frankie Morbidelli. And this man up here, is he still there? He's not. He's left. Jorge Martin. Unfortunately for the Martinator, he was hoping of a big step forward after finishing outside of the top 10 yesterday. Wasn't too concerned, feeling that a change in setup would quickly bring him back to the level of the other Aprilias. Fastest in Q1 with a brilliant lap time, but 10th in Q2 with a double long lap penalty tomorrow to come is going to be a bit of a challenge. As look at this man is the happiest man in all of the Czech Republic today. Good job. Let's have a look. High five, in fact, fist bump. There we go. Love that. In fact, look at this. He's got Martinator on the t-shirt. Is this Philip Salac here as well? Oh, good job. And who's your favourite rider? Martin, okay. Think he can win the World Championship this year? Martin, number one? Number one, there we go. That's what we like to hear. A very, very happy fan in the paddock there. That young man, look at him jumping for joy. He's absolutely over the moon with it. Congratulations to him on getting Martinator's signature on his newly purchased Jorge Martin 89 Aprilia t-shirt. Well done, Jorge Martin. Sorry, sir, nearly ran into him. An extremely stylish man as well. Great job by that young fan to have secured the signature of Jorge Martin. And thanks for joining us inside the paddock. Apologies we weren't with you yesterday. An extremely important extremely serious press conference, but back to normal broadcasting here with the equally important but slightly less serious inside the paddock as we walk past the Aprilia hospitality. Plenty of people out enjoying the sunshine, and we do expect 35 degrees plus later on today. It's going to be a real test. 10 laps in the Tissot sprint, but even with that reduced number of laps for the Tissot sprint, given just how vast this circuit is, still going to be a bit of a tyre game, you imagine, when the temperatures are in the mid-30s. So let's see what people are able to do as we squeeze down in this direction and try and see if we can get a little bit of reaction from someone that took part in that qualifying session. Moving through from Q1 were Jorge Martin, as we mentioned, and Franco Morbidelli. Good job by Frankie. Third row of the grid for him to give himself a chance of competing, certainly for the top 10, maybe even pushing towards the top 5. And down at Tech 3, Maverick Viñales has done a pretty good job as well. We know how important it is for Maverick. He's mentioned it, Pit Byron's mentioned it, Gunter Steiner's mentioned it. He has to start finding results to stay on the MotoGP grid next year, and that's exactly what he did. As we see, the man with the Midas touch, Francesco Guidotti, on his first weekend. That's not bad. Fastest yesterday, fastest in qualifying. What have you brought?
Nothing. I'm a spectator. I'm just watching. So for the moment, so yeah, I did nothing at the moment. Is everything is done by the guys that are in the garage and prepare everything. So I'm just watching.
Well, a great weekend to watch so far. Brilliant.
If I need to watch to get these results, I will be a good watcher.
You're going to have a seat in the back of the garage all season long. Great job. Francesco Guidotti back in the paddock, taking over team manager duties for the Superfile Trackhouse MotoGP team, with Davide Brivio leaving at the end of the year. Davide continuing on as team principal. And as he said then, he's just sort of watching on and getting as much info as possible. We see Maverick, brilliant job in Q1. I'm sure
I'm trying.
Frustrated to have just missed out, but you certainly gave it everything.
No, I think we have to see it on a very positive way. Obviously, every Grand Prix I'm feeling better. Still, I'm lacking a bit of power on the left side, and I can see that with my teammates, I'm a bit slower on the left-hand corners. But somehow I'm getting better and better on the right side. So it's a matter of putting the work and waiting a little bit, because I think where I will do a big step will be after the summer break, that I have plenty of time to work hard. But in any case, I'm feeling better and better with the bike, and the lap times are there. I did a good FP2, I have good rhythm, so we're going to try to build up a good race.
33 thousandths of a second. It's MotoGP.
Yeah,
it's
nothing.
this. It's nothing.
It's nothing, but for us it's a lot. So to get down 33, as you mentioned, looks nothing, but it's a lot. Yeah, and in any case, we need to look forward. We've been very close to Pedro, and our target is to regain again the position of the KTM.
Great job. Good to see you smiling.
Thank you.
There we go. Maverick Viñales is just finding that mojo again, which is great to see. Maverick, one of the good guys in the paddock, always has a big smile on his face, or certainly did in recent years. It has been tricky, of course. 12 months ago, almost to the day, he had that big crash in Q2, his last Q2 appearance at the Saxon Ring last year, where he dislocated his shoulder, has had so many complications as a result of that. But finally, it looks as though we're starting to see Top Gun getting back to somewhere close to his best. He was very unlucky. I mentioned 33 one-thousandths of a second. That the difference between him and Frankie Morbidelli for that final spot in Q2. And in the end, that's how much a MotoGP weekend can hinge on those vital moments, those vital fractions of a second. Morbidelli, third row of the grid, in a great position to challenge up towards the top 5, whereas 13th on the grid for Maverick Viñales. That is a big, big difference and a lot to overcome for Top Gun. But good to see, as we mentioned, in this vital moment, that we're starting to see Viñales find that spark again. As we head back down towards Trackhouse, because I would have loved, I would say, get a word with Iagura. It would have been A words, because we know what he's like. I said to him in Park Fermin before we did the interview, shook his hand, and I went, great lap. And he sort of looked at me, he pondered, and he went, it was a great lap, absolutely. There's a lot to be happy about as Iagura. We've been saying for so long, I feel, if Iagura can find something anything in qualifying to be up consistently on the front 2 rows of the grid, then he's going to be a huge, huge threat for victory. And what's he done? Found that final step to get himself up there, pole position for the very first time, and now it's going to be a big, big challenge. But Davide Brivio mentioned it to me during the free practice session earlier on today. During the test days that they've had, they've done a lot of work focused on getting that bike off the line. His opening laps is somewhere where he has struggled a little bit as well, and maybe that has enhanced, has really showcased his struggles in qualifying, as he has been struggling to find a step forward on that opening lap and has given him a mountain to climb. Let's hope he can get the start sorted today. There's a long run down to the opening corner, so you have to get it right. And you look to the men on the front row of the grid as well. It's anybody's guess who's going to lead, because Aguirre had his problems off the line. Gian Antonio has had his problems getting in off the line. Bagnaia has spoken about the inconsistencies of getting the Ducati off the line, although feels he has made a step. And then behind that, you've got Marco Bezzecchi, electric off the line. Marc Marquez, electric off the line, and more importantly, on that first lap. So let's see who is able to win that early wrestling match, that early tug of war to try and hold on to the lead, or at least position themselves rightly on that opening lap. For the sprint in particular, I feel that that is going to be a key element and something to watch out for as my wait for Aguirre goes on. But we'll hear from him. We'll hear from him. Thank you. Well, we see a fan here. Let's say hello, shall we? Hello. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine.
I remember catching up with you guys before, so welcome back. Is your first time in Brno?
Yes, me.
Yes, first time, and for you?
No, not really. 20 years ago, I was
wow.
here for a Yamaha festival and I rode the TZ 750 here.
Fantastic.
On the circuit. But of course, I was a mobile chicane compared to these guys.
Absolutely. Who are you supporting this weekend? Who are you cheering for?
Well, Marc Marquez and Ayogura, it's
Aguirre.
remarkable what he's done, and congratulations to him. It's fantastic.
It was a remarkable lap. Well, good to see you guys here. Enjoy the weekend. It's nice to catch up again. I believe we spoke to those guys Le Mans last year, I think it was. Memory serves me right. Well, that's what the gentleman came and told me. Anyway, when we found him he came and found me in the paddock to shake my hand and say good to see you. So it was good to see him as well. Back in Brno for the first time in 20 years. We'll do one final walk down then. And then we'll leave you with potentially, what should we move on to? Should I finish off, since we're down at Tectois, with a little bit of rider market news? You know I love rider market news. You know I love the gossip. It looks as though, given what we heard yesterday, the announcement from the MotoGP group and all the 5 factories, that an agreement has been signed through to the end of 2031. That will be the unblocking, and we do anticipate we're going to get a whole host, a quick flurry of announcements coming through. Most notably, firstly, everyone is predicting Marc Marquez remaining with Ducati. We've known it for a very long time. It looks as though we're going to get official confirmation very soon. Looks as though there are now 2 seats left on the MotoGP grid. So, latest predictions. Should I run through it quickly? I'll do it very, very quickly indeed. Looking down pit lane and moving upwards. The first box I see, VR46. That seemingly is going to be Fermin Aldeguer and Nicolo Buliga. Ducati Factory, Marc Marquez and Pedro Acosta. Grassini Ducati, Danny Holgado and Joan Mir. Factory Yamaha, Jorge Martin and Aguirre. Prima Pramac Yamaha, Toprak Razgatlioglu and Ethan Guevara. KTM Factory Racing, Fabio Gianantonio and Alex Marquez. I'll skip Tectois, those are the open seats. We then go to the Factory Honda squad, Fabio Quartararo and David Alonso or Diogo Moreira, TBC, LCR, Joan Zarco and Alonso or Moreira, TBC, one of those two, depending which way they go. Moreira's certainly helping his case at the moment. The Aprilia factory box, Marco Bezzecchi already confirmed, we know that, and Pecco Bagnaia, and Trackhouse as of this weekend, given the fact that on Monday we've got the very first test with the 850s for the official riders. Marco Bezzecchi will be on the bike, and Paolo Bonora confirming yesterday that Ralph Fernandez has been given the opportunity That's seemingly a big indicator that Fernandez, although when he won that sprint in Mugello and he was emotional, feeling as though that could be him on his way out, looks as though Fabio Di Giannantonio style from Qatar 2023, that has been enough to save Ralph Fernandez. Looks like he will be signing a one-year deal to remain at Trackhouse. Tech 3. Gunter Steiner just confirming to us on our live a few moments ago, he wants one experienced rider and a rookie, a mix of young and old. That is what the makeup of the Tech 3 squad will be next year. Maverick Viñales, prime candidate if he can continue these performances, should be staying in orange next year. Luca Marini waiting in the wings, it seems, if Viñales isn't able to show enough. And then that final seat going towards a rookie will be, it seems, one of Senna Agius, the 20-year-old Australian, 2 Moto2 victories to his name this year, and the Moto2 World Championship leader, Manu Gonzalez, the intact GP teammates battling it out to try and become a MotoGP rider next year. There you go. Sorry to spoil all those announcements. Of course, TBC, you never know, things might change, but at the moment, that's what it looks like. Anyway, lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining us on Inside the Paddock. We'll be back with you in Friday in Assen, where I don't anticipate we're going to be getting the same sunshine. Hopefully, the Netherlands can deliver for us. Tune into the sprint, 3 o'clock local time. Agura, Didier, Bagnaia, Bezzecchi, Marquez. That front 5 of the grid is mouth-watering. Your guess as good as mine as to who's able to take sprint victory. Tune in and find out. See you in Assen.